Hello, welcome to your weekly Wellbeing download with Georgie Griggs, helping you get more energy, clarity and inspiration on your life journey. I wanted to set up a series of videos, firstly from my junk room of a study, because I wanted to show you the before and after. This is how it looks at the moment. You can see behind me there's a cacophony of papers, books, clothing, all messed up and confused. And it's going to become a clear, calm space of learning and studying and self-development and exploration and connection. Connecting with the world around me and connecting with my space, my own space, myself. So I wanted to show you all this first so you could see where I'm coming from. And even the light's a bit grainy, I can tell, so I don't know what this is going to look like. But I'm sending it out to my students thus far as an opportunity to connect with me when they're not with me, but they can still enjoy potentially my teachings. Okay, so what I want to start with on this today, the day of the total lunar eclipse at 9:20 this evening on Friday the 27th of July 2018, I wanted to start with connection, because that's a big theme in my life at the moment, having spent a lot of my early life feeling very disconnected. And probably about 8 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, I took a new step in my self-development when I listened to a woman called Brené Brown, who talks and teaches about vulnerability. And with a colleague, she set up an online course, which I'd never done anything like that before. And now you can do online courses everywhere. So this was quite new. And when I did this course, we were in a group, online group, which again was really new for me. So you could tap into this group and have dialogue with people on the course. And I'd never done anything like that before. And also she's an American lady, and so the vast majority of people on this course were American. So again, it opened up this new connection over the seas, which I'd never experienced before. And I remember one of the parts of the course was a personal development course, and it was very soul-based, and it was talking about the bigger connection, feeling connecting to your source, to the universe. And I had a real moment when I wrote into the group and said, I teach yoga. I have 2 lovely little children. They were small at that time and I was finding it quite tough. But I've got 2 lovely little children, I've got a happy marriage, I've got a lovely home, I've got all those things. But you know what? I don't feel connected to source, and I don't know what you guys are talking about, because you're talking so beautifully and so connected, and I really didn't feel it. And one lovely lady, American lady, and they speak so well and they get to the point so well, and she came back to me and she said, don't worry, you will. Keep going, you will be connected to source. And it was such a relief to me then to have someone to validate me, to reassure me, to say, you're not on your own in soul seeking. And you're certainly not alone in having those doubts and not feeling connected. And that reassurance enabled me to keep going and keep looking, keep searching and keep finding ways to find that connection to my source. And yes, it took until, maybe a couple of years ago, where things shifted for me. I started changing the way that I exercised and working with this work that you now know, which is resistance flexibility work, and moved away from the traditional passive stretching in yoga, although I always keep the spiritual aspect of yoga close to my heart because it feeds my soul. And my body started to change in a different way and started to clear out in a different way. And I also brought in essential oils into my life, which was like this baby step into connecting with nature. And I was so profoundly affected by the instant effect the essential oils had on my mood and my sense of well-being that they soon became a great fascination for me, and I soon started passing them on in my classes. So that was my first beginning feeling of feeling connected to a greater source. And it was such an uplift, an upgrade of myself, that I didn't quite appreciate it until now, when I step back and I look how far I've come in actually a relatively short space of time to feel so connected to my source. So why am I talking about this? I think it's because the importance of our own sense of natural well-being in a life, in a world, in a society that we live that is so fast-paced and so geared to achieving, to striving, and to seemingly an endless stream of doing. And we seem to give more of ourselves to the person who pays our bills or gives us a paycheck than we do to the earth beneath our feet. And there's something that's gone missing there. And the value we place on financial security or things and objects and material things has almost become our religion. And we've moved away from the centre of who we are and that place that we need to connect with, which is so important if we are going to actually release and rebalance ourselves. Because I am surrounded by friends, people I used to work with, that I still have contact with, that I notice that they're still getting exhausted and sick as they approach midlife. And then what worries me more is that I see that people are getting exhausted and sick in their teen life. And I think it's the exhaustion of young people, and indeed people of myself, middle age, in more mature age, that is so surprising and concerning for us all. Because somewhere along the line we are ebbing and pulling and pushing and draining away our natural resources of energy. And in order to get our energy back, we are looking at things outside ourselves that are mass-produced, that are synthetic, that are fake. We're looking for fake energy. We're not looking for real, consistent, calm energy. And I am a great fake energy junkie. And I would use coffee to wake me up, keep me going, sugar to keep me ticking over, alcohol to give me confidence and lift me, cigarettes to make me feel in control. There are a lot of things, looking back, that I used to try and make me feel that I was living a full life. And that by full life, I thought that meant cramming in as much as I could. I didn't realise that a full life was actually a sense of being and a sense of love, which resides inside all of us. And yet we move further and further away, and I don't know why. I don't know why we are so programmed to run away and not run home within. And I can only think that it's the busyness, it's the pushing, it's the striving, it's the what we used to call the rat race. We are still pushing and forcing things in our brain, and we never give ourselves a chance to be still and connect. I don't know what we're scared of, because actually when you go there, it's a really beautiful space to be in. So connection is really important. How we create that connection is very simple. Very simple. I used to think it was complicated, and I used to think it involved a lot of rituals, a lot of restrictions, a lot of doing things that I didn't really love to do. And actually all it involves is breathing, feeling the ground beneath you, and saying thank you. That's your first step. And then from there, it's a platform to expand in any way you want. But you need to consistently, which means daily, have a practice where you pause, you breathe, you touch the ground, and you say thank you. It will feed you slowly, because nature's healing pace is slow to medium. So slowly it will start to feed you. And from there, you will start to get stronger and stronger until, well, not until, because from there things will be attracted into your space. And you will start meeting people, finding books, hearing words or phrases or things on the radio, seeing things on the television. Keep awake and keep wide awake, because things will start showing up which will be guiding you gently but purposefully for deeper connection. And from deeper connection, this wellspring of love for yourself will mature. And when you start maturing that love in yourself, you start shining the light on fear, anxiety, and disconnect. So that little practice is where I would love you to contemplate. Throw it around, chew it up, and see what happens. Pause, breathe. Let it be. Touch the earth and say thank you. Sending you lots of love. Until next week. Bye.